It's always enjoyable to see those who work so hard in the beef industry gain some appreciation and recognition for their efforts. The Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame marked its 5th anniversary last year, and we learned more about the purpose of this organization and the most recent honorees from Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter.
7 days a week, cattle feeders care for their animals, delivering feed, water, and attention in every kind of weather. At times, it may seem like a thankless job. But once each year, those who've made a difference are honored at the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame.
It was actually 5 years ago when several of us got together and decided to form the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame, and we became one of the founding sponsors. And we realized how important it is to the industry to recognize these people who have really provided the basis for this industry. It's a heritage of cattle feeding, and to honor these people is something very special.
And there are a lot of people that are important to the cattle feeding industry. They brought a lot of jobs to the plains and to the industry in general. Plus, they've added a lot of value to the cattle and to the grains and to the farmers that provide grains to the industry. So it is a critical industry for America.
Cattle feeding is one of our nation's oldest and most heritage-rich agricultural occupations. It has some of our greatest heroes, and we're celebrating some of them tonight, and we feel like we need to tell that story of cattle feeding, its history, and its future.
It was an evening of celebration in Denver as 4 individuals were honored at the 2013 Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame event. One of those was the late Leo Timmerman, who started cattle feeding in the 1940s.
Their legacy is phenomenal. Leo was one of the pioneers. You go back and read the history and listen to some of the stories of how he started and when he started, and he was one of those guys that not only was successful, but he helped build the industry and create the opportunities for everybody else to follow.
My father was brought up in the Depression, and as long as you wanted to work hard, you always had something to eat, and he was always told us the same thing: work hard and don't worry about it. And today, I believe hard work is very important, and business sense is very important.
Another pioneer in the cattle feeding business, now newly added to the Hall of Fame, is the late Louis Dinklage, a highly successful Nebraska-based cattle feeder.
He was a huge part of the cattle feeding fabric I knew when I grew up. Louis would have probably been 55, about what I am now, when I was born, and he had a great impact on my life and many of those that fed cattle in Wisner and Cumming County.
Also given during the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame event is the Industry Leadership Award that recognizes outstanding individuals for their contributions to the beef and cattle feeding industries. The 2013 winner was Harry Kenobi of Nebraska.
I'm extremely honored and proud to present this to Harry. I think back when I moved back, I was born and raised in the area, but when I moved back to kind of go into the operation, Harry was right there for me all the time, and he's been there for everybody. And I think the biggest thing that you can say about Harry is what he'll always say to you is be a part of something bigger than yourself. And if there's one thing that Harry has lived for and showed the industry is that.
Beyond honoring individuals, the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame is also working to preserve the heritage of the cattle feeding business with a project aimed at capturing historic journals, film, and photos to be preserved in an archive.
We're going to ask people to send that in. They can contact us for going to the cattlefeeders.org website and just send a request in, and we will get the information to them to send the photos or whatever they have in. We will take care of digitizing it and then return it to the family that sent it.
Preserving the past and honoring those who've made a lasting contribution to the cattle feeding industry. From the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame event in Denver, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.